Hi guys, and welcome to our WWE Elimination Chamber 2021 prediction video. Yes, I am back with Callum once again via phone call.
Hello everybody, hope you are all well and looking forward to the Elimination Chamber.
Yes, the Elimination Chamber, the road to WrestleMania 37 continues. Yes, as always, the Elimination Chamber is a pay-per-view that comes before WrestleMania. It's mainly a filler show. It's what it has been the last few years, but it's a really fun filler show because the Elimination Chamber matches usually are really enjoyable. So we currently have 4 matches on the card, well technically 5, but 4 matches on the card at the minute. So Callum, let's get to it.
Let's go.
Okay, so first match we have is a singles match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. Yes, we have Asuka defending her belt up against Lacey Evans with Ric Flair. Callum, take it away.
Oh dear God. I don't know. Asuka's had the belt for what seems like so long. I know she lost it to Sasha for about 2 weeks or whatever, but then she won it back.
Yeah, she's had it since SummerSlam.
And then Lacey Evans been paired with Ric Flair, and they've got that whole storyline going with Lacey and Charlotte. Oh, I really don't want to see Lacey Evans win. I feel like Charlotte will come out and cost her the match. So I think I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna say Asuka.
Asuka to retain.
I don't know if that's a bit controversial. I think a lot of people think Lacey will win, but I don't think the WrestleMania match should be Lacey Evans versus Charlotte Flair for the title. I just think if it's going to be anything, it'll be a singles match, like the first match on the first night or whatever that nobody cares about. I think Asuka to retain for me. Charlotte Flair, gets involved and helps Asuka defeat Lacey Evans.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because I could see very much Lacey Evans winning. They're giving her a bit of a push now, and now she's paired with Ric Flair. She keeps getting one over on Charlotte. She cost Charlotte and Asuka the belt, the tag team belts at TLC. I mean, at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see Charlotte getting involved here as payback for that here and costing Lacey the match. But it's and Asuka has had a pretty shit time as Raw Women's Champion. It's not her fault. It's her booking once again. She's been champion since SummerSlam, and how many defenses has she had? Like 2, if that. I feel really bad for her. And then she had the pointless tag team belts reign with Charlotte. Whatever that was meant to be. Anyway, so. Oh, I do not know. This is so tricky. It's a flip of a Lacey Evans. Because, she's got such a shit pay-per-view record. She hasn't won a pay-per-view match yet on the main roster, and I think this could be pretty cool if she won the belt, but maybe she loses it at Fastlane. So maybe she only has a short reign. Charlotte beats her for it at Fastlane, and Charlotte goes into WrestleMania as champion. So I think they're going to give Lacey like a 1-month reign with the belt with Ric Flair, and then maybe she drops it to Charlotte at Fastlane, and then Charlotte goes into WrestleMania as Raw Women's Champion because, woo. On to the next match. So yes, we have we'll do the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Yes, we have the big Scottish bastard Drew McIntyre defending his belt up against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and The Miz. So yeah, I'll start. Why the fuck is The Miz in this match? So yeah, this should be a good match. Drew is fresh off his big win over Goldberg at the Royal Rumble, and now his next big challenge is defending it in the Elimination Chamber. And I think it's going to be a very good match. AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy will pull off a crazy spot. Randy Orton and Sheamus should be good. The Miz, yeah, great. So it's going to be a hard slog match. I think it's going to be great, but I do think it's pretty predictable. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre retains because he's had such a great run. Most of last year, it's just what a reign he's been having. Beating Goldberg clean at the Royal Rumble was a huge victory. So I feel like him dropping it here would just be a bit shit. So yeah, Drew McIntyre deserves to head into WrestleMania 37 as champion Although I'm a bit nervous that maybe Randy wins it, because people are saying Randy could win it, but I think The Fiend might cost Randy the match, because The Fiend might come back here. Or maybe The Miz cashes in at the end, after he comes back at the end. Please, no! Please, do not, I swear to God, I'm praying The Miz has another failed cash-in. But anyway, yeah, Drew McIntyre to retain, because he definitely deserves to go into WrestleMania as champion. Callum, who have you got?
Well, it could potentially be quite difficult. I think, of course, Randy Orton could win. Edge obviously won the Royal Rumble, so is the feud between them over? Maybe not. Could Randy potentially win and fight Edge again? That everyone was expecting to happen at this year's WrestleMania anyway. Yeah. Or could it be Randy versus The Fiend for the belt? I don't think anybody other than Randy Orton could win unless it's Drew McIntyre. Jeff Hardy, no. Well, apart from The Miz, of course, because he could just cash himself back into the match at the end and make it, if he gets eliminated, he could just cash in again. But,
yeah.
I don't know. But since Randy had it and was useless with it, and I know that was his fault a couple of months ago, I don't think they'd give it him again so soon. So I'm going to say Drew McIntyre to retain.
Yep, so we've both got Drew to retain, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, because I actually think they're planning Drew versus Edge now. Because now you see where they're going with SmackDown, which I'll get onto. I think Edge is going to face Drew, but we'll talk about that in a few months' time. Yes. Anyway, okay, on to the next match. Yes, we have a triple threat match for the WWE United States Championship. Yes, we have Bobby Lashley defending his belt with MVP, going up against Big Boy Keith Lee. It's good to see Keith Lee back, because obviously he wasn't in the Rumble. And Matt Riddle. So...
Bro!
Right, okay. So, yeah, Callum, take it away. Who have you got?
Big Boy!
Oh, you're going with Keith Lee? Big Boy!
I'm going with Keith Lee because, Bobby Lashley's had the belt for what seems like forever.
Since Payback, yeah.
And I don't have a problem with him having it because he's been pretty dominant and stuff. But I think the whole point of having a triple threat is so that he can drop the belt but be protected. So Keith Lee most likely pins Riddle, and Bobby Lashley doesn't come off looking any worse.
Yeah.
Because there are rumours of Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So, whether or not that is completely wild rumours or not, he would obviously have to drop the belt for that. And I think, Keith Lee's been very consistent on Raw since he came up. And, had some good matches with Drew and Sheamus and all those things. So I think, give him a little bit of a mid-card title run. And then, later on in the year, push him to the main event. And, Keith Lee.
Yeah, that works. Very much so. Well, yeah, like you said, Bobby Lashley's been US champion since Payback last year. That's August. So I'm not complaining. He's had a great US title reign with the Hurt Business, but I think Bobby Lashley deserves now to be slightly more up the card. And like you said, if they are planning Brock versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, then I'll be down for that. So yeah, I think Bobby Lashley can lose the US belt here. He wouldn't lose anything because he's had a very solid reign. A very dominant reign. So yeah, he drops the belt here, but he doesn't get pinned. Either Riddle or Lee pin each other. But I think it should be a really good match. Who have I got though? It's really tricky. I want to say Keith Lee, but I think he's only been back a week. So I think to suddenly give him the US belt just like that would be wait, what? But Matt Riddle's the one who's been feuding with Lashley for the last several weeks, constantly getting his ass kicked. So part of me thinks they're gonna give it to Riddle. And maybe Keith Lee wins it at WrestleMania. I don't know. It's so tricky. Keith Lee. Yeah, Big Boy. I was gonna say Riddle because I thought Riddle's the one who's been feuding with Lashley for several weeks, months. Not Keith Lee. But I'm gonna say just because I love Keith Lee, and I think it'd be a big moment if he won it. And yeah, so Keith Lee wins his first main roster belt. Yeah, go on, Big Boy. Okay, then on to the last two matches, yes. We have the second Elimination Chamber match. Hang on, for a WWE Universal Championship match later on the same night. Yes, so the winner of this Elimination Chamber match will face Roman on the same night. Yeah, that's fair, isn't it? Fucking hell. So anyway, the participants are Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, yes, and Daniel Bryan. So I'll start with this one. It's tricky. I think this one's quite tricky. Obviously, this all got announced last night. They had number one contendership matches, and Roman was cockily saying, "I'll face the winner." Yeah, like cocky little Roman. I think this should be a really good match. Apart from King Corbin, I think that's a pretty solid lineup. Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan. This could be a really good Elimination Chamber match. It's great to see Cesaro getting a bit of a push. Who's gonna win? I'm gonna say. Oh, it's so tricky. It's so tricky actually because I could see Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens stood tall last night, didn't he? I was like, I'm coming for you, Roman, because they might do a third match between Roman and KO, but it could be Cesaro or Daniel Bryan as well. I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan, because I think this is going to begin to tease the Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns match for WrestleMania, because I think Daniel Bryan's going to win. Big marathon performance, but kind of like what Kofi did 2 years ago at the Elimination Chamber. So I think Bryan will win. Then he'll face Roman. He'll give it his all, but he'll be too tired, and then Roman will win. But then the next night, Daniel Bryan, on next Friday, Daniel Bryan will be going, you didn't beat me fair, Roman. I want a proper match against you. Proper match at WrestleMania. And that will, I think, build the Roman and Bryan feud for WrestleMania. So yeah, obviously, I think Daniel Bryan will win the chamber match. Then Bryan will face Roman, lose, but it'll be a valiant performance because he'll be knackered from the chamber match. So I'm going to say Daniel Bryan wins the chamber, faces Roman, loses, but this is what sets up their WrestleMania feud. Yeah, go on, Callum.
Okay, well, definitely not King Corbin. God, honestly, Rey Mysterio and Dominic should have been in this match. I felt like, not because I liked them, just because I think that they'd have brought more than what Corbin and Sami Zayn would.
Hey, Sami Zayn's a good wrestler, just because he's a healer.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. But yeah. I just think the Mysterios in there would have offered more than both of them. Anyway, Kevin Owens, not again. I don't want a fourth match. I don't want a fourth match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Jey Uso, probably not yet, because they had some good matches before, while Jey was feuding with him. But I feel like in this scenario, Jey would just lie down and take the 3 count for Roman, which I do not want to see. King Corbin, no. Sami Zayn, I can kind of see, because the whole conspiracy thing, the fact that he won a match last night, perhaps he could win the match. I don't know. Cesaro and Daniel Bryan are probably the top 2 potentials.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to go for Cesaro.
Oh, you're going with Cesaro. I was so tempted to pick Cesaro, but I just think Bryan. But anyway, why have you gone with the Swiss Cyborg?
I just think he's beaten Daniel Bryan twice in recent weeks, which, yeah, you might think could be Daniel Bryan and then, being pushed up to get the chance. But I think on the little, run that Cesaro's on, he seems to be having a feud with Seth Rollins now, of all people, who came back last night.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Who just attacked him, but, perhaps if he wins the Elimination Chamber, then Seth can cost him the match for something like that. I just think he's on a bit of a good run, and they should be having a good go with him, I think, going into WrestleMania, giving him a feud with Seth, which is obviously a high-profile feud for Cesaro, and he should probably win that as well. So I think, yeah, why not let him win the Elimination Chamber and challenge Roman, even though we all know that for the 5th match, Roman Reigns will retain.
Yeah, absolutely, because he'll be facing someone who's just been in, a 30-minute Elimination Chamber match.
Exactly,
so
yeah. Exactly.
Roman will win, whoever he faces. So that kind of just ruins the suspense of the Chamber match, because we all know whoever wins, Roman's just going to beat. So, yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm down with Cesaro. I did pick Cesaro to win the Rumble. I think you can see they're finally starting to realise what a good wrestler he is, and they're finally starting to give him somewhat of a push. Finally. So, yeah, it should be great. Should be, and that's it for the card at the minute. We might get Big E versus Apollo Crews, maybe, if that match happens. As much as I would love to see Apollo Crews, because he might have turned heel now, but I'm going to say Big E retains if that match happens. What have you got, Callum?
Yeah, I would say Big E to retain. Don't forget also the Street Profits and Rude and Ziggler on the pre-show, maybe.
Yeah, I think we'll get that.
Montez Ford seems to be fit again now, and they beat Chad Gable and Otis yesterday. So
Yeah, if that match happens,
well,
who have you
on the
got?
pre-show probably.
Probably, yeah. If that match happens, who have you got?
I don't know. Rude and Ziggler have done nothing with them, but the people have held them for too long, I think. So
Yeah.
that's actually a quite difficult one. I think I'd probably stick with Rude and Ziggler.
Yeah, I'd say Rude and Ziggler because it's not their fault, but yeah, it's the SmackDown tag team belts. The WWE couldn't give two shits about them. So when was the last time they actually did anything with them? Street Profits as well. Anything else? Maybe I think maybe Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defend my hole.
It happened again on SmackDown last night.
I know. Is that Nia Jax's new gimmick? Her hole.
Be a gag now.
Like, she's going to get merch. I guarantee she's going to have merch saying my hole. They're really pushing it, aren't they? My hole. It's like... So yeah, guys, that is our predictions for Elimination Chamber. We hope you enjoy the show. My next pay-per-view will be Fastlane in March. That'll be with Laura. And then Callum and Laura will both be joining me in April for late March.
WrestleMania!
In late March for WrestleMania 37. Woo! The big one. So, yeah, Callum, thank you very much for joining me.
It's a pleasure as always.
Yep, and we hope you all enjoy Elimination Chamber. Woo!